Yes, people, how's it going? Welcome back to Lily White Lane, and we have some more breaking news. I'm almost sick of saying more breaking news. We've had so bloody much the last week, but look, yet again, like the last week's news, it's negative from a Spurs perspective. Opposition fans will be loving this international break. You know, Spurs bringing them the circus and the entertainment that they need, but from a Spurs perspective, you don't want your club to be constantly in the news for doing things, but we're in the news again for the wrong reasons again, and it turns out our sporting director is a convicted criminal. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, but no, let's actually talk about the news. Fabio Paratici's ban on transfers has been extended to a worldwide ban and will now carry on for 30 months. 30 months, not 1330. We can't carry on with this guy. We can't carry on with this guy. Are you telling me we're going to keep this guy for pretty much another 3 years when he can't organise transfers, when he can't meet, other sporting directors and managers and owners in real life? That's one of the rules and regulations. I'm not going to go into all of them because, quite frankly, I don't know all of them and I can't be asked to learn all of them. But I've obviously done some research on the basics for this video, and one of the rules is he can still communicate with other sporting directors, other clubs, discuss transfers, but he can't meet them in the flesh. He can't, actually shake their hand and agree a deal. That pretty much makes his job pointless. It's like telling the security guard at a nightclub to just stand in the corner the whole night. You're just stopping him from doing his job. He can't do his job, so there's no point him being there if he's not on security. There's no point Fabio Paratici staying at Tottenham Hotspur if he can't properly organise transfers for this club. And you know something else that's really wound me up? Really wound me up. You look on Twitter, oh, Paratici, Don Paratici, smoke your cigar, Don Paratici, like Don Corleone. Oh, Don Paratici's cooking. What's he cooking? What is he cooking? Stale bananas in a frying pan? What is he actually cooking? Because it don't look too good to me. It doesn't look too good to me. Paratici's cooking. It's just like everyone everywhere. Oh, Don Paratici. Just shut up. Shut up. You're just cringeworthy. You're comparing him to films and stuff. He's a convicted criminal who needs to go. In his job at Spurs, he's done a better job, yes, than Steve Hitchen. But has he done a brilliant job? And the job that everyone's hyped him up to do? No. Everyone goes, oh, we did brilliantly at Juventus. This is a completely different situation to the manager situation, because the manager did well at Juventus and didn't do well at Tottenham, and that's down to Tottenham, not down to the manager. People go, oh, Paratici did well at Juventus. Yes, that's why he's got a 30-month ban now, you morons. Or of course he did well at Juventus because it was illegal money. It was illegal money. Of course he did well. Don Paratici, it's just wine everywhere you go. Don Paratici, this, that. He's a convicted criminal. Stop trying to, this isn't The Godfather. This isn't Goodfellas. This is real life, and we're talking about a convicted criminal who's organising transfers and now can't for our club, who needs to be sacked. We said when Conte went, and I'm not going to delve into that situation. I've made countless videos on my thoughts and opinions on that, but we said when Conte was sacked, Paratici will probably go now. Now he has to go because he can't even do his own job. And it feels, from a Spurs perspective, maybe it's what we need. And, we're going to have to be patient and genuinely just see what's going to happen with this situation. There's not much we can do as fans, but it feels like we're back at square one from when we sacked Mauricio Pochettino. Fabio Paratici and Conte gone in yet again. Sorry, not when we sacked Poch, when we sacked Jose. Brought in Paratici, then brought in Conte. Both of those are gone. We're in the same managerless and sporting directorless position. And you know what people go? Because I blame Levy for this situation, and people go, oh, why does Levy get the blame when Conte messes up sometimes? Why does Levy get the blame when Paratici messes up? Levy gets the blame for Paratici right now because he was the man who appointed this guy when he was already being convicted of these crimes, right? This is the guy who appointed this guy. Be a better judge of character. People go, oh, how can you blame Levy for Conte? One, he didn't back Conte fully. Yes, Conte hasn't done things properly at Spurs and that he could have done better, but the main reason he didn't succeed is because he wasn't backed properly by the ownership. But at the same time, don't appoint Conte as a smokescreen to make the fans happy if you don't actually have a plan. That's how they're to blame for Conte's demise, and that's how they're also to blame for Fabio Paratici's demise. And it links back to those same Pochettino quotes and those same Conte quotes from a week ago, especially that Poch one. You can have a nice house. Danny Rose said it as well. But there's no point if you don't have the right furniture inside. And I think that sums up this situation at Spurs. It shambles of a club. We've still got 10 games to go. Be doing a match reaction next Monday. We'll see what happens in that game. I'll still watch it. I'll still try and get behind the boys. But I'm just hoping and praying we can do something. And people go, oh, don't compare us to them. But similar to what Arsenal did. And that whoever we appoint as manager and sporting director can just... and maybe work a miracle. People go, oh, they can't work miracles. Maybe. I'm just hoping and praying at this point that we could be in a similar situation to Arsenal. Or even Man United. Man United have won a Carabao Cup and third in the league this season, when last season they were so much worse than us. Arsenal were worse than us last season. And look at the position of those two clubs this season. Almost reclaiming their position at the top of the table. And look at Spurs' demise back to where we were in the 1990s. And that's something I want to say as well. Everywhere I've looked, and this is a dig at the ownership as well, and then we'll get back to the Paratici stuff. Looking on TalkSport, people going, comparing Spurs in the 90s. Why do you never hear any of these people that have this agenda against Spurs and want to say Daniel Levy? Everyone who says Daniel Levy has done well refers to how bad we were in the 90s before he took over. Why don't you refer back to the 80s? Or the 70s, or the 60s, or the 50s, or the 40s. Especially even the 80s. Won the Europa League, I believe, twice. Won a few trophies. The FA Cup as well, and a League Cup. 70s won trophies. 60 won the double in 1960s. It's lucky for Spurs when the year ends in one. It bloody ain't been lucky for Spurs any time. Not just when the year ends in one since Levy's come in. But I wanted to get that off my chest. If you're not blaming Levy and you're telling me he's a good guy, stop comparing how we were in the 90s. Compare how we were before. But look, back to Fabio Paratici. I expect a sacking from Spurs. I think a sacking is the best option now. This is very different to the Conte situation. It's not one where we go, oh, he's a world-class sporting director, because he's not. Anyone can be world-class with that amount of fraudulent money. And look, I'm not going to go into it too much because this isn't a financial studies channel. This is a Tottenham channel. I want to talk about Spurs. I want to talk about football. And as much as I'm dreading the football coming back because of how bad Spurs will be, it'll be good to actually be able just to talk about the football at the weekend and how Spurs are getting on the pitch instead of off of it. Because some people like this talk. I'm not the biggest fan. But it needs to be said. It needs to be talked about. Paratici to be sacked. Worldwide ban. Now, 30 months without being able to make direct and contact in the flesh to other people. Let me know your thoughts. That sounded wrong. Wasn't intentional. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this video and Fabio Paratici's worldwide ban on transfers. Thank you for watching this video. Take care of yourselves. All the best. God bless. And as always, come on you Spurs. Enoch and Levy out.